When I say the Canon RF 28-70 has replaced all of my prime lenses, I am not exaggerating. I have been leaving my 35 and my 50mm at home. Not in the car, at home. But there is one lens that I'm still bringing to every wedding, every portrait session, and that is my 85mm 1.4. So the question is, do I really need the 85mm, or could I shoot everything at 70mm with the 28-70 and you really not be able to tell the difference? So I'm gonna answer that question in this video.
We're also testing what it's like to shoot in a hurricane.
Hey there, I'm Katelyn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a place where we like to empower photographers to build both profitable and purposeful businesses while also letting you in the behind the scenes of our day-to-day life. I'm so excited that you're here, and I want to say before we dive in, please subscribe, because I hate even saying that, but if you like it, why not make sure you don't miss it? 65% of you that watch this stuff aren't even subscribed, which is just fascinating. So hit subscribe so you can be a part of the family and never miss an episode. We are trying really hard to get to 50K by 2022. We're trying to end the year on a high note. So if you like it, subscribe and stick around. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to take some of the most similar shots that I always use my 85 for. So that is a tight crop portrait, maybe a full body portrait where I'm trying to get rid of the background a little bit. I want it to be blurry and out of focus. And then a kind of like a creative foreground element type shot. We're gonna do all those 3 different shots, same subject, same place, same light, and try to frame it exactly the same way. Gonna use 70mm with this, obviously 85mm with this. And then we're gonna come inside. Ty is gonna upload them, maybe apply a little preset process magic to them so they're quickly edited, and jumble them up so I can't tell what is what. And then I'm gonna look at them, export out of Lightroom without any type of settings. I'm not gonna know what is what, and I'm gonna try to see if I can tell a difference. Makes me feel nervous for some reason. So right now, I show up at a wedding with these 2 lenses and a macro lens. Now I do have the 70 to 200, 2.8, and the 135. Those are kind of like the longer focal length lenses that we use for ceremonies, and that's pretty much it, maybe toasts. But this is kind of like the family. This is what I'm using on a wedding day now, which is just fascinating because I used to have a whole slew of them. So anyway, that's what I take to a wedding. Now, obviously, the macro is needed. You have to have it, but I literally am just using it for basically ring shots and other tiny details. So when you strip those extra lenses away that are just for like very small parts of the day, this is the bread and butter. This is my go-to. 95% of the day is honestly shot with this. Crazy, but I pull this lens out, I pull the 85mm out when I have the time and the capacity and the space and the perfect light. It's almost like, wow, things are going really, really well. Let's make it even better with this. That's my thought process, but I don't ever pull this out in a pinch because this is so great in a pinch. This is great most of the time. This is like extra icing on the cake, like a step above the rest. This is like the premium membership and instead of the basic. It's a step above everything else, and I love it. I'm realizing that that's all kind of an assumption because I've never actually tested it. Like I've never shot at 70mm and then at 85mm and at the same aperture and the same image and been like, oh, this is better than this. I've never tested it until today. So honestly, I don't know. I'm a little nervous if I'm being honest. What if I can't even tell a difference? Like what if I can't tell a difference? Am I truly gonna be taking my favorite lens out of my bag and going down to one zoom lens? If you had told me when I was back in like 2010, 2012, that I would be shooting basically everything with one lens, I would have laughed in your face. What has happened to me? This has happened to me. So for the experiment today, I'm using the RF 85mm 1.2 lens. I love it. Note that even if I was using the 85 EF lens 1.4, this is going to be very similar. Whatever we find out today is going to be very similar across the board for any 85 compared to a 28-70 2.0. So we're looking at the focal length, the compression, and sure, there's probably going to be slight differences in the RF version, but we're basically comparing the 28-70 compression and sharpness to the 85mm in general. Like, can you get the same look? That's what we're looking for. All right, so let's go outside. Let's make this happen, and we will see what the results are.
Here we are, we're outside. We are not trying to go for anything magical here, no offense, but this is, look at my model, no offense. Sorry, that sounds awful.
We had a couple people fall through.
Yeah. Ty is the model. We're gonna take tight shot, full body shot, and the creative foreground shot, and then we're gonna compare them, starting with 28-70 RF lens, backup Ty. All right, let's see, right about, let's get a little closer, Let's do a little closer. We're doing this tight shot. There you go. Okay, so here we go. We're shooting at
with my hair.
Your hands or your hair?
Both.
This is great. Okay, so you got to stay just like that, hands in the pocket.
A few moments later.
So now we're going to try to do a creative element shot with some foreground with both lenses to see if we can tell a difference. Okay, so here we go. Ty.
Moments later.
We're also testing what it's like to shoot a hurricane.
More moments later.
Okay, we got it. Now we're gonna go evaluate.
Blind evaluation.
Okay, we're back. That was great. We took our test shots. Ty is going to upload them to the computer, put them in Lightroom. I'm going to do a little quick edit sync thing. So I'm not going to look at them. I glanced at the back of the camera when I was shooting them, but I tried not to scroll through them. I think I am going to be able to tell a difference, but I don't know. We're going to see. So we're going to dive in, put them on the computer, and then do an evaluation. Okay, here we go. Full body shot. All right, so we're looking at this. First of all, you should know this. When I'm looking at this and I'm deciding between these two lenses, I'm looking at the background first. More than, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's what I'm looking at. All right, so this is 1, 2.
You have to guess. Say which one you think it is.
Oh, I could tell. It's very clear. This is the 85. It has to be. And that's the 28-70. They're both great. Oh, but one of them's way better. Oh, gosh. Okay, I can tell. I don't even need to see this. I mean, I guess I should show you the side by side. Oh, it's very clear. Okay, well, yep. I mean, this is our answer, right? This is what we wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, the background is just, look at the difference. I mean, they're both so sharp, but this is just my, look at that separation of subject to the background. And it's a busy background. That's what's crazy. It's busy. We didn't say this, but we're shooting in the middle of the afternoon. We shot these at 12:30 in the afternoon. So, it's just, you just can't beat the 85. All right, so let's just go ahead and reveal what there was no doubt in my mind that I wasn't right. Okay, let's look at another one. So we have, image number 1. This is a tighter crop. We have 1. Okay. 2. It's very, I can tell. I know which one is my baby. Oh, and it's not the second one. Okay, so let's turn those off and see side by side. It's very clear. Okay, so 20-70 on the left, 85mm on the right. I think it's gonna be obvious with this too. Okay, so we're looking at image 3. This is the kind of creative shot with foreground. That's the first shot. Second shot. First shot again.
That one's less obvious.
Oh, it's obvious to me.
It's
obvious to me.
It's still apparent, but it's less obvious.
This is very obvious. I mean, maybe some people won't notice the difference, but I am pretty confident that the bottom is the 85 and the top is, we'll see. Yes, I was right. Okay, so what have we learned here? I am kind of relieved a little bit. I don't think there's any replacing the 85. I just don't think. I mean, looking at these, and I have felt that when I've been shooting before, because there's got to be some reason why I choose, hey, hold up, let's put my favorite lens on. Why do I do that? And while I've never tested it, I think subconsciously I have realized when I'm shooting, this is a moment that needs to be extra epic. The background needs to be extra blurry. The subjects need to be extra crisp. There's just something magical about this lens. So I should mention that all these were shot at 2.0. The 85 has the capacity to go down to 1.2. Ty asked me earlier, he's like, but you don't really shoot at 1.4. And I was like, no, I do. I've been shooting at 1. I actually should find, I'd shot something at a recent wedding at 1.4 with the 85mm. Because I have yet to experience it being soft at 1.4. It is so accurate. I'm relieved. I'm relieved about this. I mean, maybe other people were hoping I'd say like, yeah, just get rid of everything except the 28-70. But the truth is, it is very clear to me, especially with my style, and the reason why I love the 85 is the reason why I'm choosing it when I'm seeing these, side-by-side comparisons. Like, it's just, you cannot replicate it. I'm happy about it. I don't know what I was hoping for, but I'm happy about it.
But if you saw the 28-70 and you had no other comparison, it still looks great. Like, the background is still blurry, and like
yes. I just think like even when I'm looking at this tight shot, I mean, look at the distance. Look at the difference between the far background trees. It's just this creamy neutral palette. Looks like someone did some like watercolors smeared in the background. Where for the 28-70, you can kind of see a little details of like some tree trunks and some leaves. It's just different. It's I guess my word for it is it's just smoother. It's a smoother lens, but it's also crisp and accurate. Anyway, so good news. My favorite lens remains my favorite lens. It will always be going to weddings with me because even though the 28-70 is just magical, and I highly recommend it, if you are an 85mm lover, if you have the budget to, it is still a luxury lens. You don't need an 85mm to make more money, to be successful, to have better images. You don't need to. It is like a treat for a photographer. It's like, a treat yourself type of situation, not something you have to have. So here is my new updated RF lens recommendation for wedding photographers. Highly recommend the 28-70. I've gotten to a place where I think that is the first purchase that you should make. Hands down, no question about it. Why? Because it covers a range of options and variety, and it's a great lens. It basically is a foundational lens, and then you just need a few little things like then a macro. The macro is great. If you already have the EF version, again, if you have like an L series version, EF version of some of these lenses, you will be just fine with an adapter. So again, all of this is kind of, it's as you can afford it. Do not put yourself in debt to grow an RF collection thinking you need to have these lenses in order to get the most value out of your new mirrorless camera. That's not true. Your adapter with your EF lens is going to be just fine. But my new updated list would be 28-70 2.0, hands down the first thing. 100mm macro, if you're a wedding photographer, you got to have this. And it is a good upgrade. If you really are in desperate need of a longer focal length, then go ahead and go get the 70 to 200 RF lens if you don't already have one. That's the thing. If you already have the EF versions of these, then you really are just shopping out of the luxury of having a budget to be able to upgrade your R series lens collection. And if that's the case, then you have to start thinking through what your preference is. So if I had to choose like, I have some extra cash at the end of the year, I'd really love to upgrade to the 85 1.2 RF lens, or I could get the 70 to 200 2.8. Well, it really is personal preference. I would always choose the 85 because I love it. But that's because I rarely shoot with a 70 to 200. So if you are always shooting with that lens, you should go down that path. So it's really a lot of preference. But basically, the 85mm 1.2 RF lens is amazing. It is awesome. But if you already have an L series version, an EF format, then I don't know if you need to spend all the money. I don't know if that's helpful. It's just the truth. So I will continue to bring my 85mm RF lens to weddings, even though I'm not taking the 50mm RF or the even my old 35mm EF. I'm not taking those anymore. But good news for me, for Michael. I'm sure Michael will be thrilled. He's loving the whole KJ's basically shooting with one lens these days since he packs my bags. But no, we will continue to take the 85. It's just not replaceable. It's an irreplaceable lens. You can't get the same look. And I'm honestly kind of happy about it. I don't know what I would feel like if I'm like, I'm just going to say goodbye to that. It's like an identity crisis. So yeah, keeping it in the bag. If you love this, if this has been helpful for you, subscribe, ask questions in the comments. We read every single comment and we try to respond to everybody as much as we can. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to just hear your feedback and your thoughts, maybe if you have an 85mm RF. But thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. We will see you next time. Bye.
Ah!
Bye.